Pause for a moment, smile at the audience. You know, life is a very interesting thing. We spend so much time fixing our phones when they hang, fixing our cars when they break down, fixing our clothes when they tear, but the most important thing we forget to fix is ourselves. And then we wonder, why is my life not working properly? Why are my relationships failing? Why do I feel so lost? My dear friends, today I want to tell you something very simple. If you don't fix yourself, the world around you will keep breaking you. Let me share with you 6 powerful lessons to help you fix yourself before it's too late. Imagine your mind as a garden. Whatever seeds you plant there, whether they are seeds of hope or seeds of fear, will grow, and they will grow abundantly. The question is, Vajas, what are you planting every single day? Most of us don't even realize how many weeds we've let take over our mental garden. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, envy, anger, and comparison are like wild weeds that slowly choke the life out of everything beautiful we could have grown instead. And then we wonder why life feels heavy, why we feel stuck, and why happiness feels so far away. Think about this. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thought that crosses your mind? Is it, another tiring day? Or is it, wow, I have another chance to make something good happen today? That one thought, just one, sets the tone for your entire day. It's like programming your mind's GPS. If you set it to negativity, your whole day follows that route, finding every reason to be annoyed or disappointed. But if you consciously choose to think positively, you suddenly start noticing opportunities, moments of gratitude, and even small joys that were always there but hidden under your own fog. I'll tell you a story. There was a young man who worked in an office where everyone complained. Every morning, they'd grumble about the boss, the workload, the traffic, the coffee machine, even the weather. This young man started his day cheerful, but after a few months, he found himself joining the chorus of complaints. His productivity dropped, his smile faded, and he began to dread going to work. One day, a colleague asked him, "Why are you so grumpy these days? You used to be the sunshine of this office." That question hit him. He realized that without even noticing, he'd allowed other people's negativity to reprogram his mindset. He decided to make a change. Every morning, he started listening to uplifting podcasts, wrote down 3 things he was grateful for, and made it a rule to compliment at least one person a day. Within weeks, people noticed a difference. He didn't change his job, his boss, or his workload. He simply changed his dar's mindset. And that changed everything. Your mindset is like a filter on a camera. If the filter is dark and dirty, even the most beautiful scenery looks dull. But clean that lens, adjust the filter, and suddenly the same world looks brighter and more vibrant. Life doesn't always change, but the way you see it can, and that is the power of fixing your mindset. Negativity is sneaky. It doesn't always come in big, dramatic ways. It slips in quietly. It's in the small comments you make to yourself. I'm not good enough. Nothing ever works out for me. Why bother? It won't make a difference. Those words, repeated every day, become beliefs. And those beliefs shape your reality. But here's the good news, the reverse is also true. Start telling yourself, I am learning and improving, and I can handle this one step at a time. something good will come out of this situation. Repeat those enough, and they too become beliefs. And those beliefs will open doors you didn't even know existed. Look at any successful person, whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, and you'll notice one common factor: their mindset. They face challenges just like everyone else, but instead of saying, "Why me?" they ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of saying, "I can't do it," they say, "How can I do it?" That shift in thinking is what allows them to grow, adapt, and keep moving forward, even when life throws curveballs. Think about athletes, for example. The difference between a gold medalist and someone who quits halfway through isn't always talent, it's mindset. The one who keeps going, despite the pain, despite the fear of failure, despite the pressure, that's the one who wins. And that same principle applies to everyday life. Your mindset determines whether you stay stuck or move forward. Now, you might be wondering, but how do I change my mindset when my situation is really tough? The answer is one thought at a time. You don't have to solve everything in one day. Start with something small. Instead of focusing on everything that's going wrong, find one thing, just one, to be grateful for. Maybe it's the roof over your head, a friend who checks on you, or even the simple fact that you woke up this morning and have another chance to try again. Gratitude is like sunlight in that mental garden. It helps the good seeds grow faster. Another way is to surround yourself with the right voices. If all you hear is negativity, on social media, at work, or even in your own home, your mind will start to echo it. But if you feed your mind positive stories, inspiring content, and conversations with people who uplift you, your thinking will shift without you even realizing it. And here's something important to remember: a positive mindset doesn't mean you ignore problems. It doesn't mean you wear fake smiles and pretend everything is perfect. What it means is that you approach problems with clarity and strength instead of fear and helplessness. It means you acknowledge the storm, but trust yourself enough to know you can sail through it. Changing your mindset is not a one-time job, it's a daily practice. Just like you take a bath every day to keep your body clean, you need to cleanse your mind every day to keep it positive and strong. Meditate, journal, listen to something uplifting, or simply sit quietly and reset your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, your thoughts create your emotions drive your actions, and your actions shape your life. So, the next time you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or hopeless, pause and ask yourself, what seed am I planting right now in my mind? If it's a weed, pull it out. If it's a good seed, nurture it. Because your life is nothing but the reflection of your mindset. And when you fix your mindset, you start to fix everything else around you. Your habits are like the invisible threads weaving the fabric of your life. Every small choice you make each day, what time you wake up, how you spend your mornings, what you eat, what you listen to, how you react to situations, becomes a pattern. And those patterns, repeated over weeks, months, and years, quietly build the person you are becoming. The truth is, success and failure don't come overnight. They come from the habits we practice every single day. Think about it like this: if you plant a mango seed, you won't see the fruit tomorrow, but if you water it daily, protect it from weeds, and give it sunlight, In time, you'll enjoy sweet mangoes. But if you neglect it, the plant either dies or grows weak. Your habits are those seeds. They don't show immediate results, but their impact is inevitable and powerful. Take a simple example, your morning routine. If you wake up late, rush through your preparations, skip breakfast, and start your day feeling stressed, that energy carries through your entire day. On the other hand, waking up a bit earlier, taking 5 minutes to sit quietly, maybe exercising or reading a page or two of something inspiring, and eating a wholesome breakfast changes the tone of your entire day. You walk into the world calmer, more centered, and ready to handle challenges. I once met a young man who complained that nothing in his life was moving forward. His career was stagnant, his relationships were suffering, and he felt lost. When we sat down and examined his daily routine, the problem was clear. He spent hours scrolling through social media, slept past midnight, woke up late, and started every day in chaos. There was no time for personal growth, no time for reflection, and no discipline in his lifestyle. It wasn't his fate holding him back, it was his habits. We started small. Instead of trying to overhaul his life in one go, we worked on one simple change, waking up 30 minutes earlier and using that time to plan his day and read something positive. Within a few weeks, he felt more in control. Over time, those 30 minutes grew into an hour of focused personal time. Months later, he was healthier, more confident, and more productive. His external life started to change only because his internal patterns did. That's the beauty of habits. They don't require grand gestures, they require small, consistent steps. It's not about running a marathon tomorrow. It's about putting on your shoes and walking for 10 minutes today. It's not about reading an entire book in one sitting. It's about committing to 2 pages before bed. These small actions, compounded over time, lead to extraordinary results. But here's the catch: bad habits work the same way. Spending hours on distractions today doesn't ruin your life instantly. But let that pattern continue, and you look back a year later, wondering why you're still stuck in the same place. Overeating junk food once won't harm you, but make it a daily habit, and soon it affects your health, energy, and confidence. Habits are like silent architects. They are always building something, whether it's the life you want or the life you want to escape. There's a saying, you don't decide your future, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Think about people who achieve extraordinary things. Most of them aren't extraordinary people, they're ordinary people with extraordinary consistency. An athlete who trains daily, a writer who commits to writing a page every day, a professional who invests in learning regularly. All of them build their success brick by brick through habits. Even in relationships, habits matter. The habit of expressing gratitude, of truly listening instead of just waiting to respond, of checking in on the people you care about. Those small acts, repeated daily, build unshakable bonds. Conversely, neglecting to show appreciation, ignoring calls, or failing to communicate regularly erodes even the strongest relationships over time. If you want to know where your life is headed, look at your habits today. Are they leading you toward growth, peace, and purpose? Or are they keeping you trapped in cycles of stress, procrastination, and regret? The good news is habits are flexible. They can be reshaped. You can decide today to let go of the patterns that no longer serve you and build new ones that support the life you want. Start with one change. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Spend 5 minutes writing down your thoughts. Replace one unhealthy meal with something nourishing. Read instead of scrolling for half an hour. And most importantly, be patient. Just as it takes time for a seed to grow into a tree, it takes time for a habit to show its fruits. There will be days when you stumble. There will be mornings when you don't feel like waking up early or evenings when you slip back into old routines. That's okay. What matters is that you return again and again to the habits you want to build. Progress is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Remember, your life today is the result of habits you built in the past, and your future will be the result of the habits you build now. If you want better health, build the habits that lead to it. If you want deeper relationships, nurture the habits that create connection. If you want more success, cultivate the habits that drive focus and learning. Habits are powerful because they automate success. Once a positive habit becomes a part of you, you no longer have to fight yourself to do the right thing. It becomes second nature. And that is when true transformation begins. Not through occasional bursts of motivation, but through steady, intentional action every single day. So fix your habits before they fix your future, because whether you choose them consciously or unconsciously, your habits are shaping your life. And when you master your habits, you take charge of your destiny. Relationships are like delicate threads, invisible yet powerful, that hold our lives together. They are the source of our greatest joy and at times our deepest pain. But here's the truth that many of us overlook. Relationships don't break in a single day. They erode slowly, silently, when we forget to nurture them, when we take them for granted, when we stop listening and start assuming. Fixing your relationships is not about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about understanding, presence, and genuine effort before it's too late. Think of a plant. If you water it regularly, give it sunlight, and take care of its soil, it flourishes and blooms beautifully. But if you ignore it, even for a short while, it begins to wither. Relationships are no different. Love, respect, and trust need consistent nurturing. The problem is, life gets busy. We get so caught up in our work, our ambitions, and our own struggles that we forget the simple things that keep relationships alive. How often do we pause to ask someone, "How are you?" Really? Not just the polite, "How are you?" that expects a quick, "I'm fine," but the heartfelt question that shows you genuinely care about their answer. Sometimes people don't need advice or solutions. They just need to feel heard. Listening, truly listening, is one of the rarest gifts we can give in today's noisy world. I remember meeting a man who told me he lost his best friend after years of silence. They hadn't fought, there was no major argument, they just drifted apart because neither of them made the effort to call, to check in, to say, "Hey, I was thinking about you." He told me with tears in his eyes. I thought there would always be more time, but there wasn't. That moment taught him, and now it teaches us, that relationships don't wait forever. Sometimes, fixing a relationship is as simple as apologizing first, even when your ego screams that you're right. Think about how many bonds we've allowed to weaken because we wanted to win the argument. But what good is winning the argument if you lose the person? Humility doesn't make you small. It makes your heart big enough to hold the people you love. Even in families, small acts of kindness go a long way. A young woman once shared how her relationship with her mother changed completely when she began leaving her little notes in the kitchen. Notes that said things like, "Thank you for everything you do," or "I love you, Mom." Those small words melted years of distance between them. Sometimes, the people we love the most are the ones we forget to express love to. Friendships, too, need attention. It's easy to assume that a good friend will just understand why you're too busy to call or too tired to meet. And yes, they might understand once or twice, but over time, even the strongest friendships fade without communication. A simple voice message, a funny meme, or a 5-minute phone call can remind someone that they matter to you. Romantic relationships, perhaps more than any other, thrive on daily investment. Love isn't sustained by anniversaries or vacations alone, it's built in the everyday moments. The good morning texts, the quiet dinners without phones, the small gestures that say, "You are important to me." When couples stop investing in those small things, resentment grows, misunderstandings multiply, and distance creeps in. Fixing that requires not just love, but conscious effort to listen, to forgive, and to grow together. And forgiveness, that's another cornerstone of strong relationships. Holding on to anger is like holding on to burning coal, expecting the other person to get burned, but you're the one in pain. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you choose to value the relationship more than the mistake. Imagine how many relationships could be saved if we learned to forgive faster and love deeper. But fixing relationships isn't just about others, it's also about fixing ourselves. Sometimes we project our insecurities, our fears, and our unresolved pain onto the people closest to us. We expect them to fill the voids inside us that only self-awareness and growth can heal. By working on ourselves, by being more patient, more empathetic, and more grounded, we automatically become better friends, partners, siblings, and children. There's also immense power in simply being present. In a world where everyone is distracted, being fully attentive is rare and precious. When you sit with someone without scrolling through your phone, when you look them in the eye and really engage, you tell them, "You matter. You are worth my time and attention." That small act can rebuild bridges that seemed broken. And don't underestimate the magic of gratitude. We are so quick to point out what's wrong, but how often do we acknowledge what's right? Telling your spouse, "Thank you for always supporting me," or telling a friend, "I appreciate you being there for me," may seem like small things, but they keep relationships strong. People bloom in the warmth of appreciation, and relationships thrive when gratitude flows freely. At the end of the day, relationships are what make life meaningful. Success, wealth, and fame feel hollow if you have no one to share them with. When you're celebrating, you want people to cheer with you. When you're hurting, you want someone to sit with you in silence. Those connections are the real wealth of life. So don't wait for special occasions to express love. Don't wait for a crisis to realize someone's value. Call your parents today. Send that message to the friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. Hug your partner a little longer tonight. Say, I love you more often. Because when you fix your relationships, when you nurture them with patience, kindness, and consistency, you not only strengthen your bond with others, but also find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment within yourself. And that, more than anything, is what makes life truly beautiful. Ego is one of the most deceptive enemies we carry within ourselves. It doesn't shout or scream, it whispers quietly, convincing us that we're always right, that we know better, that others need us more than we need them. And slowly, without even realizing it, ego begins to build walls. Walls that separate us from the people we love, from opportunities that could help us grow, and even from the humility that brings true happiness. Think about how many relationships have been lost simply because someone couldn't say, I'm sorry. How many friendships have faded because someone thought, why should I call first? They should call me. How many opportunities have slipped away because we were too proud to admit we needed help? Ego convinces us that vulnerability is weakness. But the truth is, humility is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. I once heard a story of a man who built a successful business, but slowly drove away everyone who helped him get there. Why? Because his ego convinced him that he alone was the reason for his success. He stopped appreciating his team, dismissed advice, and treated others as if they were replaceable. Over time, his best employees left, his friends distanced themselves, and even his family stopped trying to connect with him. By the time he realized his mistake, he was sitting in a big office, alone. This is what ego does. It isolates us. It tricks us into thinking we're standing tall, but in reality, we're standing alone. True strength isn't about standing above others, it's about standing with others. The beauty of humility is that it keeps us grounded no matter how high we climb. Look at the people who are truly admired, not just for their achievements but for their character. They are almost always humble. They listen more than they speak. They appreciate the contributions of others. They aren't afraid to admit when they don't know something. And because of that humility, they keep learning, they keep growing, and they keep attracting people who want to support them. Ego, on the other hand, stops growth. The moment you think, I know everything, you stop learning. The moment you think, I don't need anyone, you start losing the people you need the most. And the moment you think, I'm better than them, you lose the respect that truly matters. In daily life, ego shows up in small ways we often overlook. It's in the argument with your spouse, where you know you could apologize and make peace, but instead you walk away, waiting for them to come to you first. It's in the workplace when someone offers a suggestion, and instead of considering it, you reject it just to prove a point. It's in friendships when you silently expect people to always check on you, but you never take the first step. But when you start letting go of ego, something magical happens. Relationships begin to heal. Doors that were once closed begin to open. You start feeling lighter because you're no longer carrying the heavy burden of pride. Saying, I was wrong, doesn't make you small, it makes you wise. Asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And appreciating others doesn't take away from your own worth, it multiplies it. I remember a young professional who shared how his career took off the moment he stopped pretending to know everything. He started asking questions, seeking feedback, and genuinely valuing the input of his colleagues. Not only did his performance improve, but his relationships at work transformed. People respected him more because humility invited collaboration, while ego had only created distance. Life has a way of humbling us if we don't choose humility ourselves. A proud man once laughed at someone who stumbled and fell. But weeks later, he tripped in the exact same spot, and in that moment, he understood what it felt like. Pain has a way of teaching lessons that ego refuses to learn. But we don't have to wait for pain or loss to break our ego. We can choose humility every single day. When someone helps you, instead of brushing it off, look them in the eye and say, "Thank you, I really appreciate that." When you're wrong, instead of defending yourself endlessly, take a deep breath and admit, "You're right, I should have handled that better." When you succeed, instead of boasting, share the credit with those who walk the journey with you. Ego may make you feel powerful in the short term, but it leaves you empty in the long run. Humility, on the other hand, might feel uncomfortable at first because it requires honesty and vulnerability, but it fills your life with peace, love, and meaningful connections. In families, humility strengthens bonds. Children respect parents more when they see them admit mistakes. Couples grow closer when they learn to drop their egos and communicate openly. Friends stay loyal when they feel valued and heard. And at work, teams thrive when leaders are humble enough to listen and empower others. Even spirituality teaches us the importance of surrender. The ocean is vast and powerful, but notice how it stays below every river and stream, allowing them to flow into it. That's why it's full. In the same way, when we lower our ego and embrace humility, life flows into us with abundance. So ask yourself, how many opportunities, relationships, or moments of joy are you losing because your ego is too loud? What would happen if you chose, just for today, to quiet that voice and let humility guide you instead? The truth is, letting go of ego doesn't make you less. It makes you more connected, more loved, more respected, more at peace. Because at the end of the day, people don't remember how powerful you seemed or how much you owned. They remember how you made them feel. And humility, unlike ego, always leaves people feeling valued, seen, and respected. Choose humility. Apologize first. Ask for help, appreciate often, not because you are less, but because you are wise enough to know that none of us are truly complete without one another. Focus is one of the most valuable currencies of our time, yet it's the one thing most of us are constantly losing. Every day, we wake up with good intentions to work on our goals, to spend time with loved ones, to improve ourselves. But somehow, before we know it, hours disappear into endless notifications, scrolling through social media, or doing things that don't really matter. And then at night we lie in bed wondering, where did my day go? The truth is, life isn't just stolen by big events or disasters. It's stolen in small, quiet moments of distraction that add up over time. Imagine this: you're trying to read a book that could genuinely change your perspective, but every few minutes, your phone pings. You check it once, then again, And suddenly, what should have been 30 minutes of focused growth turns into an hour of mindless scrolling. It's not that you didn't have the time, it's that your focus was scattered. When your focus is scattered, your life becomes scattered too. The world we live in today is designed to distract you. Apps are built to keep you scrolling. Advertisements are created to hijack your attention. And even your environment is filled with noise, from constant emails to the pressure of multitasking. But here's the powerful truth. As you have the ability to take control of your focus, and when you do, you take control of your life. Focus is like sunlight. When sunlight is scattered, it feels warm but doesn't do much. But when you take that same sunlight and focus it through a magnifying glass, it becomes powerful enough to start a fire. That's what happens when you focus your energy and attention on one thing at a time. You ignite results that feel almost magical. Take the example of someone building a small business. They could spend years thinking about ideas, switching from one plan to another, dabbling in 10 different directions but never committing to one. Or they could pick one idea, give it their full attention, and pour their energy into building it step by step. Guess which one succeeds? It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters, with undivided attention. I once met a student who was struggling with his grades. He wasn't lazy. In fact, he spent hours studying, but his phone was always beside him, and every 10 minutes, he'd check his messages, reply to notifications, or get lost in videos. He thought he was multitasking, but really, he was dividing his focus into pieces so small that nothing stuck. Once he started keeping his phone away during study sessions and dedicating even just 45 minutes of pure, focused effort, his results changed dramatically. He wasn't studying more, he was simply studying with focus. The same applies to relationships. Have you ever been with someone who's constantly on their phone while you're talking to them? You walk away feeling unheard, maybe even unimportant. Now think about the opposite. A conversation where the person puts their phone away and looks into your eyes and gives you their full attention. That moment feels meaningful because focus is a form of respect. When you focus on someone, you're telling them, you matter. This moment matters. One of the reasons people often feel unfulfilled in life is because they confuse being busy with being productive. You can spend the whole day running around, answering emails, doing chores, and feeling exhausted, yet still end the day realizing you didn't do anything that truly mattered to you. Focus is what bridges the gap between activity and achievement. When you focus, you start prioritizing the things that align with your goals and values, and you stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. Let's take another example: health. So many people want to get fit, eat better, or build strength, but they keep jumping from one plan to another, trying a diet this week and a new workout next week. They lose focus the moment it gets challenging or the results aren't instant. But those who commit, who focus on small, consistent actions, eating one healthy meal at a time, walking a little every day, doing that 20-minute workout no matter what, are the ones who see real transformation over time. Focus turns good intentions into real results. But here's something important to understand. Focus isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. It's a muscle, and the more you practice directing it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Set aside an hour for work without distractions. Spend 10 minutes meditating to train your mind to stay present. Read a few pages of a book without checking your phone. These small acts of focus compound over time and give you back control of your attention. The reward of focus is not just achievement, it's peace. When you focus, your mind stops racing in 1,000 directions. You're no longer constantly worrying about what you haven't done, because you know you're giving your energy to what truly matters. That sense of clarity is rare in today's chaotic world, but it's deeply fulfilling. And perhaps most importantly, focus reminds you of the value of your time. Time is the one resource you can never get back. Every moment spent on distractions is a moment taken away from your dreams, your relationships, your growth, and your peace. When you understand this, you stop letting every notification, every demand, every distraction dictate your life. Instead, you start choosing where your focus goes, and by doing so, you start choosing the life you want to create. So, the next time you catch yourself drifting, ask, is this moment bringing me closer to the life I want? Or is it pulling me further away? That simple question can shift your perspective and help you bring your attention back to what matters most. Because in the end, the quality of your life isn't determined by how many things you do. It's determined by how deeply you focus on the things that truly matter. Focus on your dreams. Focus on your relationships. Focus on your growth. And watch how slowly but surely your life transforms. Not because you did everything, but because you gave your best to the things that mattered most. Our hearts are the quiet engines that keep our humanity alive. But in the rush of modern life, they often grow cold without us even realizing it. We chase deadlines, promotions, and possessions, thinking they will fill the emptiness inside, only to find that the more we achieve, the more hollow we sometimes feel. Fixing your heart is not about becoming emotional or weak. It is about reconnecting with the very essence that makes life meaningful. Compassion, kindness, and love. When the heart is alive, even the simplest moments feel beautiful. When it grows cold, even the biggest achievements feel empty. Think about the last time you did something genuinely kind for someone without expecting anything in return. Maybe you helped a colleague with a task, shared food with someone who was hungry, or simply listened to a friend who needed to talk. Remember how that felt. That warmth you experienced wasn't about the act itself. It was your heart reminding you of what truly matters. Because at the core of everything, we are not driven by money, titles, or applause. We are driven by connection. But somewhere along the way, many of us build walls around our hearts. Maybe someone hurt us, so we decide to trust less. Maybe life disappointed us, so we stop believing in good things. Maybe we got too busy, so we forget to express love and gratitude. And without noticing, those walls turn into a prison, keeping pain out, but also keeping joy away. Fixing your heart means tearing down those walls, little by little, and allowing yourself to feel again. I once met a successful businessman who had everything people dream of: wealth, status, respect, but he told me, "I feel empty. I have people around me, but I feel alone." Over time, he realized that in his quest to achieve, he had neglected the relationships that made life rich. He began to take small steps to reconnect, calling his parents regularly, spending real time with his children, and reaching out to old friends. Slowly, the emptiness faded, not because he earned more, but because he began to love more. Our hearts thrive when we nurture them with gratitude. Instead of obsessing over what's missing, focus on what you already have, the people who love you, the opportunities in front of you, even the gift of simply being alive. Gratitude softens the edges of frustration and fills the heart with peace. When you wake up each morning and take a moment to say, "Thank you," even silently, you start your day by fixing your heart in the right direction. Another way to keep your heart alive is through kindness. Kindness doesn't have to be grand, it lives in small, consistent actions. Smiling at a stranger, holding the door open, checking on a friend, or forgiving someone who hurt you. These little acts not only make others feel valued, but they also keep your own heart warm. The irony of kindness is that while you think you're giving to others, you're really healing yourself. Even in the toughest situations, a heart that chooses compassion transforms pain into strength. Think about people who have faced unimaginable losses yet still show love and kindness to others. They aren't naive, they are strong because they understand that closing your heart in pain only deepens the suffering, while keeping it open allows healing to flow in. One of the most powerful examples of a warm heart is in relationships. Have you ever noticed how the simplest gestures, a warm hug after a long day, a text that says, "I'm thinking of you," a genuine "thank you," can completely change how you feel? These moments cost nothing but mean everything. Fixing your heart often starts with appreciating the people you love and letting them know how much they mean to you. And it's not just about others. Fixing your heart also means showing kindness to yourself. We are often our own harshest critics, replaying our mistakes and failures in our heads until we convince ourselves we're not enough. But your heart needs your forgiveness just as much as anyone else's. When you speak to yourself with compassion, "I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing my best," you begin to heal wounds that no one else can see. Spending time in silence also helps reconnect with your heart. In the constant noise of life, our inner voice often gets drowned out. Just a few minutes of quiet, whether in prayer, meditation, or simply sitting still, allows you to listen to what your heart is really feeling. It reminds you of what matters most and helps you let go of what doesn't. I once heard a story of a woman who volunteered at a shelter every weekend. She said it started as a way to give back. But over time, she realized that helping others was healing her own brokenness. "I thought I was saving them," she said, "but they were really saving me." That's the beautiful paradox of keeping your heart open. The more love you give, the more love you find flowing back into your own life. At the end of our lives, we won't remember the meetings we attended, the deadlines we met, or the material things we owned. What we will remember are the moments when our hearts were alive, laughing with friends until it hurt, holding a loved one close, helping someone in need, or simply feeling at peace with ourselves. Those are the treasures that no one can take away from us. So, fix your heart before it grows cold. Slow down and look around. Notice the beauty in small things. Appreciate the people in your life. and find ways to express love every day. Don't wait for the right time to be kind or to tell someone how much they mean to you, because the right time is always now. A warm heart doesn't make life perfect, but it makes it meaningful. It makes even ordinary days feel special and turns struggles into lessons of strength and compassion. When your heart is open, you don't just exist, you truly live. And that, more than anything, is the secret to a life well lived.